Okay. I swear, once again, 5 days a week, I am in this car. Okay. So I am obviously once again headed out. So last night Anthony and I were playing, and he kind of, oh, I thought it said Keto Men's. He tends to play a little rougher, and I was just trying to tickle him, and so he got a little rougher. My nail bent backwards this way, literally stayed in that position, almost instant tears. It was so awful. So I had to push my nail back, even though everything in my body was like, no, just rip it off, my whole thumb. And so I literally push it back, and I have this moon, like crescent moon shape on my nail because it bent. Then it's like hurting, and I'm like, oh. It starts bleeding, like really bad bleeding. I'm like, oh no. So because of the infections, I need to clean it immediately. And it's on the left side of my body, which is my trouble spots, just the left side. And I'm left-handed. I wonder if that goes hand in hand. Anyway, so I'm like cleaning it with my other nail, having to go in there because it's not anywhere where I can just get to it. I have to kind of shove my other nail in there to clean it out. I was like, I'm gonna die. And so I was like, yeah, this, not fun. Kind of change everything around. It's like 74, and my car is, well, dark. It's black, and it feels in here. So, yeah, that royally sucked. I was like, why can't you just play with people? He's like, what happened? And I was like, there is no way, because he kneed me in the hand. And it's my bad hand on top of it, and I shouldn't have been, you know, trying to tickle him with that hand. But you don't think when you're playing and you're laughing and stuff, you're in the moment. And so I was, and it's like, it's my thumb into my wrist situation, and I think that's what kind of cemented the turning into a giant baby and crying. And so I was like, how could you not feel? You just need me in the thumb. I was like, you bent my nail back, and what's worse is he was standing right here when I went and flipped it forward. He was watching. I was like, what the heck is wrong that you're physically looking at me and you have no idea what you just did to me? So sometimes I wonder if he kind of checks out situation. He used to be, when we were dating, like glazed over eyes, pupils dilated, and then it was, I have to get her worse than she got me. And it wasn't like, punched, or, I'd go to grab him and hit him harder than I would think. Instead of just, tickling, I'd like hit him. I still have that. Went to go grab something and punched it instead. I was like, what the heck? I was like, I'm so sorry, Cup. Anyway, I think I ran over a bird on accident. So yeah. I'm tearing up. It sucked. It's still sore today, but not as bad. But you can still see, because there's the quick, and then there's a line right underneath it. If I think about it, I'll have to put an insert in a picture. I was like, but my nail didn't break. So, I mean, good on my nails. I got some good nails. I wish it would have just broke. It's like, you know, if you ever have acrylics kind of situation. But the acrylics, when you like jab them, and I've done that one, like gone to do something and just went dink, and I was like, you just want the nail to break off, because I swear it's like 10 times more painful. Yeah. So, fun stuff. I'm trying to get the house dealt with before they come in and do the inspection. And so I still need to work on our room and get that situated and looking nice. We have so much stuff, it's ridiculous. So I want to put up the basketball hoop now, because the kids never touch it. So I want it to go. And I'm just gonna give it away for free. I had a coffee table in my room, though it was being used. It didn't need to be used. So I put it up for free, and then all of the pants that Connor had, I put them up. They're a bunch of jeans. So, but no one's, and I only put them on the site I run for our area, for the free in our area. And so, and if probably I'll give it like 3 or 4 days, and then I'll promote it on other sites or other pages for our area in Walla Walla. I'm just like kind of hesitant, because there's like I must have his blinker on, or he has a short, because it's like blink, 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 blink. Anyway, so there's a gentleman in the next town over that is just abusive to people. And then, was it last year, year before? I think 2 or 3 years. He was looking for girls, specific girls, to come clean his home. He would pay them, and they were all like almost 18. So it was a little fishy. Like, one of them, she commented, and she said my mom would feel comfortable with my boyfriend coming with me and me not doing it alone, and he told her to F off. I had men's clothing a few years ago to donate, and he questioned, and then I ended up in the hospital. I feel like I've told you guys this story. Maybe I told Joni. Anyway, and so obviously I spent 7 days. Well, he needed them, according to him, he needed them then and there, and I said, I can't, I'm in the hospital. And then when I got out, I ended up spending more time in the doctor's offices, and I would have liked, because I had to keep up on medication, and they almost put me back in the hospital. They talked about putting a PICC line in and just having me come in 3 times a day, but that's a lot of running, especially with 3 at this time younger children, because Lex was the oldest at 12 at the time. So it wasn't high on my priority list, but my health was, you know, pretty high. I went through some really bad depression because of it, because like I just felt like my life is over, you know, kind of situation. But so I couldn't get the clothes to him, so he called me the C word. Then, like 6 months down the road, he decided to ask if I still had them. I said, I do have them, but I am not giving them to you, because you have shown that you are not a safe person. So he called me all sorts of filthy names. The only thing he didn't call me was a white girl. And it's like, it's derogatory. It's racial comments to anyone. It doesn't matter the age. If you won't give him what he wants, and so I'm hesitant to use the like yard sales places here. I had to block him off of ours, my free one, because he would do that even for free items. And so it's ridiculous. And so, people post about him quite often. He goes by 3 different names, and they're not similar, because people catch on really quick. And someone tried to get me once, was like, just have him come over and meet you, give him this address. And I was like, oh God, that makes me sound bad. Like, he tortures a lot of people. I'm like, he has, you know, what he has coming to him, because you just can't talk to another human being like that. And the racial slurs, oh my goodness. But then I was like, I can't be a part of that. That one I can't do, because that's not right. He needs to be dealt with legally. He needs to be dealt with properly. And so I just saw someone like in the last 4 months, I swear to God, she was trying to hand that sheriff a grocery bag. Anyway, recently he's been having to be banned from another one. And it's like, you keep getting banned, but you're not learning a lesson, which is scary. What the heck are they doing? Oh, their car must have broke down? Weird. But, you know, and you're not going to learn anything if you don't want to. You're not going to get any better unless you want to. It's like, you know, where putting Connor into counseling was hard for me. Anthony's just like, just do it. And my, as a mother, is just do it. Just put him on there. But then the logical sense of me knows if he doesn't want to get better, he's not going to get better, and I can't force him. And I told him, I said, I want you to do this for me. Even if you don't go in there. And even Joni talked to him. She goes, go in there, lie about everything that your parents do to you. If you have to. Because Connor's got the most anger. And so recently he was diagnosed with ODD. And Xander, and I think I told you guys, ADHD, ODD, anxiety, and depression. And so, you know, like my products, perfume, cleaning, what have you, chemicals don't fix everything. They don't clean everything. They don't lend to everyone's life. Ow, 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 ow. And so that's where I don't think you need to pump your home, your family with just some scary sounding things. And like, it took us 6 months, and I told Lex it was ultimately her decision when she went on Prozac. She went on it for a week. It jacked up her sleep. And I told the doctor, I am not for drugs. Children are developing, their brains are growing, you know, what have you. I want to nourish that, not hinder it with a chemical. And then the body becomes dependent on that chemical, and then your serotonin goes away, and your, you know, feel-good receptors go. And so, you know, that is an issue for me. And, you know, like with the boys, with ADHD, it can be treated with, what is the one I took? It's not gabapentin. Why can't I think of it? Wellbutrin. Non-habit forming, non-stimulating, which is big for me. And I said, and he goes, what do you want to do? And I said, I do not want to put him on medication. I do want to try having him go to counseling and learning some life skills, because I think there's nothing wrong with that. And he needs to understand that this isn't a disability. This is something he needs to figure out how to work in his life and come to terms with it, kind of situation. Oh, my thumb. Okay, I do have a free one. I'm just gonna use a free one. And so I think everybody could use skills to, you know how to deal with a situation, because there's nothing wrong with that. Life can be life. Life can be hard. Life can be great. But if you focus on the bad, then that's all you're gonna see, and then things aren't gonna feel like they're gonna work out. Hi. Mocha yogurtino extra peanut butter.
Okay. You're doing the 32, yeah. Right? Sorry, you're running to use your free one?
Yeah.
Okay, not a problem. Alright, there's the for you.
So I think they're all good skills. Also, checkbook and credit. And I know I harp on that, but I harp on it because when I sat down to figure out what would help us get into a home, you know, paying off all of the stupidity, it was a fatter number than I could handle. And then I literally felt like I failed. I failed because I was young and dumb. And, you know, credit cards and accounts like that are pretty and what have you, but they really will bite you in the butt. So it's something you should really, you know, it's something that helps you, but if you don't do it correctly, it'll hurt you. I have the hiccups. I'm getting all these messages and it's not going off. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Going like to my Skylar Clean Scent Club. So I have a friend who is trying enchiladas in the crock pot. I want to make sure it didn't die on me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. I love my crock pot, especially in the summertime. You're not heating up a stove. I mean, tonight, I don't know why, I am craving fried chicken and mashed potatoes specifically, and Brussels sprouts, but I always want Brussels sprouts. So I don't know. Not the healthiest. Not that honestly we eat a lot of processed foods or fried foods. I don't do it very often. which is good, and it's healthier, and it, you know, heart, because you don't want all that icky stuff. She made it extra thick. Oh, peanut butter. Anyway. Fun stuff. But back to the crock pot thing. I highly recommend liners. Because they're like the best. And unless you poke them, you can just pull them out and you'll be done with the situation. Every time I come upon one of these lights, it turns yellow, and then I've gotten through 2 of them, but this one, yeah, turned yellow before I could get to it. I don't understand what's going on. There's been a lot of people, like, holding religious signs and screaming at cars. So I paused back there when I was turning the corner, because that's where they do it. There's one on each side. And then there's one down the street, and I've never seen this one. It's a little strange. But it's what it is, I guess. Everybody has their right to, you know, religion. That doesn't bother me. The only thing that bothers me is when I know a few someone's like, if you don't believe what they believe, then you're just instantly damned. And I don't think that's right, because I think everybody's entitled to believe in what they believe in, and there's no right or wrong, and you know. But I do think what's wrong is when you tell someone else their religion isn't good enough. And I knew someone who she was at the park, and there were Mormons in the park also, and she's like, can we please pray for them, because that they find the true God and understand that they are wrong. And I'm like, why is your God superior to all other gods? You just ran the red light blatantly. And that's like, Anthony and I have a friend that he went to school with her, and she's on my Facebook, and like, I didn't get, and I am all for asking questions to understand where someone else is coming from. And I did, because I was like, she posted that she wouldn't have got this degree if it wasn't for God. He got this, not her. And I said, and I was trying to get to understand where she was coming from, and I don't fully understand, and I won't pretend like I get it. And we had a good discussion. I said, you know, I don't mean anything rude, and I'm not trying to change your view, but I want you to take the credit for you. Like, you did this. He did not do this. Because she believes God's a man. I believe God's a woman. Sometimes I believe he's a child with a magnifying glass and we're ants. We, you know, it is what it is. And so we had kind of a lengthy discussion on Facebook about it. And I said, you know, I'm not trying to devalue your religion or what you believe in, but you did awesome. You know, she came from doing drugs and drinking to being clean and religious and getting her life together and getting a good job and a good education. And I just want her to be proud and feel like that was her accomplishment, you know, and that's how I felt. And so I kind of made a harsh point, but she kind of saw it where I came from, because she's like, this isn't mine, this is his win. And I said, fine, then you ask that school to put his name on it, not your name. If you didn't earn this degree, then it is not your degree. I said, now do you understand where I'm coming from? And she was like, yes, I do. I was like, I mean, really don't go ask them to do it, but you know, I just don't want you to devalue yourself, because she has come from I can't type, a great place and done great things, and I think she will continue to do great things. And so I admire people like that who come from the bottom and then they just shine. And so, you know, good on them, and good on her. I'm proud. I think it's amazing. And you know, our issues aren't like that. We weren't druggies. It sounded really bad. We didn't do drugs. We weren't out there, you know, wondering how we were getting our next fix. But we weren't drinking. We weren't, you know, seeking out bad things. Whee! I didn't see the red car. How do you miss a red car? All right. Anyway, so you know, our thing wasn't substance abuse. It was just abuse of our credit. And so now we're trying to bounce back from that. And I don't think there's anything perfect about that. There's nothing to be ashamed about that. Kind of like mental illness, you know. It's there. It's part of you. You just have to learn how to deal with it. And I will admit to it, pulled my head out of my butt and am learning from the mistakes that I have made. And our credit was just one of them. I do feel ashamed when, you know, I look at the figures. It scares me. But it will get fixed. And for once in my life, I can say I have faith. I am not a religious person. I didn't used to believe in anything. And so for me to come this way, and I'm telling you what, I know it sounds really strange to people who don't believe, but I went from not believing and getting nowhere to going, I'm gonna give it up to a higher power. And just let it go, and my stress is gone. I'm not saying, you know, it's perfect, but I am in a better spot. And then I'm starting to find help to kind of get this situation dealt with. Anyway, Ashley's here, and I have talked enough, so I'll let you guys go for today. Bye.